back again to talk into myself, into to bring a sense of validation of growth. Good afternoon. I would like to be called, what you can call me, Iyaja, man. My government first name is Sylvan. I live a life as an artist and not knowing myself, not really knowing who I really am. I didn't go to school to learn how to be art. I just felt something inside of me and I just kept applying myself and it just was coming, and as time went on I got better and better at it. Medical. I smoke a little herb to slow down the excessive thinking. Maybe about 60,000 thoughts a day, as a friend of mine told me once, and it made a lot of sense. You know, I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to break mine down to at least from 60 to at least 55. Meditation got a lot to do with that. Meditation helps you to proceed the chatter monkey in your mind, to proceed the thinking, you know, to go behind the thoughts, to go beyond the realm of sleep, between the space of the dark internal and, you know, dreaming and thinking, to the higher self. I like to say Ori, and that's where you'll find, you know, the word Orisha, Ori, the higher self, the crown chakra. It's pretty dope. Me, I was being an artist, not knowing who I really am, not knowing myself, you know what I mean? And, you know, I live life forward, learning backwards, and how the universe plants certain people in your life to inspire an internal concept or perspective of yourself. I've been doing that. And it led to me to lose a relation with another who I put a lot of time with, you know, a lot of time. And I learned a lot. And I did a lot of right and I did a lot of wrong. But I was supposed to. So I don't feel bad about it. Especially after I apologize in certain ways. But some people hold on to things and it's okay. I can't control them to let it go, but I start to care less because I'm more or less like, you know, the intent wasn't to do a disagreeable action or word to say. Wasn't ever no ill will intent. So to hold someone and drag them to the dirt, I have no tolerance for that. Especially when I do it to myself. I do it to myself a lot. We do it to ourselves a lot. We start caring what people think. Having fear to fail. And I was thinking that, you know, failure, you know, when I was in 4th grade, I got left back. And I'm pretty sure it had a lot to do with favoritism. Back in the 80s, you know, I was a young boy, you know, who had ambition, who, you know, the system wasn't designed for, you know, it was designed to teach us what to think and not how. And me being the artist, I could look back and see how chaotic I was because there's so much energy of creation and expression was inside of me. At the time, they didn't know how to deal with that, so she leaves me back. When I got left back, and when all the kids when the end of school year come around, who graduated, who got promoted, the next grade, basically, who got promoted, I got laughed at because I got left back. And guess why I got left back? I got left back for doing art, drawing on my ditto sheets and shit. But the next year, 4th grade, fortunately we had the niece of the mayor of my town of Passaic, and we went crazy in that class. We got all we did was play and did little. She didn't care, so we didn't care. But she taught me something. I look back then, what all that school shit, education shit was bullshit. It ain't help with nothing. It ain't help with, with what you need was for the time to come, such as the 90s, and it didn't prep us for like the crack epidemic where, we taught the school to get a job and work a 9 to 5 for like what, $3.25 at the time an hour, $4 an hour, just like peasants change. You can't do nothing. And then crack comes in, and we got young 14, 15, 16-year-old and older, boys who selling crack and making $5,000 a night while they still in school. I seen it. I knew the dude. I knew a couple of them. You know what I mean? Unfortunately with me, I guess I had the proper guidance and proper fear embedded in me to not do certain things, And I found myself being a skateboard kid, and then I bumped into some graffiti artists, and it was history from there. And here I am now, 30 years later, living life simple, simple. I thought success was obtaining certain things, which it is. It has nothing to do with it. But the greatest success is to know yourself, to know that these things that we obtain, we purchase, we buy, or make a certain amount of money doesn't validate you, because it doesn't matter. Maybe it does, but to the most part, those who are aware will know that shit doesn't matter. Because this is as much as you can get. It can be taken, it can be lost, you know what I mean? And the more you have, the more you fear somebody taking it. It seems what? You gotta have your security up, because niggas out here take shit. White, black, Asian, Latino, niggas take shit. They come in all forms, all nationalities. Well, I'm making this platform. I've been on here for a while. In the beginning, I started with some conscious stuff, but I thought, which I was wrong, I was too ahead of my time. I thought, but I was right on time, and I think it was a good thing, because there's a difference between wanting to be something and become it in the now. Like, I had to break the paradigm of this future and this past shit. The past was hard, because the past had a lot of emotional attachments to it, whether it's families, friends, socials, community, a lot of, levels I never seen that existed, that I've experienced, and not consciously knowing what I'm choosing to become, or allow that experience to make me. So now I'm here, and I'm on the dawn of my half-life. The dawn of, like, what's the word? The second half, From, you go from the 20s to 30s to the 40s to the 50s and so on. Just like you go through a physical puberty, there is a spiritual or eternal puberty. The first set of puberty, things happen inside you that expresses outward. When you start getting beards, or she might start growing breasts, and your hormones internally start changing. There's a spiritual, where the physical is forced to practice the ritual to obtain the spiritual, and that's like this concept of aware. But I think the problem is what I've been seeing. A lot of people are more aware of what's out and trying to share, and teach and say save another, When the awareness comes, there's awareness of consciousness. And the consciousness, the awareness must grow into becoming the conscious, where we become know ourselves, where you learn before that you can't save nobody else. You're gonna save someone, save yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm documenting my practice of saving myself. Things that I'm doing to have a better internal connection, because from kindergarten until college I was taught what to think and not how. And the how be hitting me like bam, bam, bam for years now, where I'm figuring out things that I shouldn't be figuring out. It's happening. And every now and then I bump into another who's on the same frequency wavelength. Another that's still, who's on it also, And we sword sharpen swords, and that's what's been happening to me, And I meet elders who know some shit, but I've also becoming real quiet, I'm just watching, because the elder in me is growing. It's here. It's like when a young person, when he or she embark on the dawn of their teenage years. I'm embarking on the age upon my senior year. I'm coming out of my junior and going into my senior. And I'm learning things about myself, that there is a point of no return that I must cross. And it deals with completely most of our life, we was more focused on the information. The stuff that's outside of us, that's informing us to where we develop this character or this ego person. Me, and you may be also, I'm the scale that's tipping where the invert is happening, where I'm no longer concerned with the outside. And that started when I gave up watching television over 15 years ago. And shortly after that, it didn't make no sense to watch television when you had the internet. Then YouTube came out. And the fact that, and other streaming platforms came out, where I had the options to choose what I put in my mind. Just like when you're on a diet, you choose the right foods to eat. Where I choose the right information through my ear and my eyes that I put in. But here's the thing that's really interesting about this. When the inversion happens, it's like you have to not be afraid no more. And that's challenging, because they teach us what to fear. Right? They teach us what to fear, but never say why fear it. Sometimes they do, like, okay, you don't believe in the Lord Jesus, you're gonna burn in hell. It's a childish thing to get kids to do something right, but when you really analyze it, it's like, how the hell your soul could burn in fire when energy is infinite? Your soul is energy. So that's another concept. But I'm just saying, as far as I inverted my awareness and learning to pay attention to me inside more and more, then the consciousness growth begins. Because we was aware that, hey, there's something more than this. It's something, you know. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. I'm not following this. Oh, I see through this. I see through that. What's going on? Your awareness is there. And then you start finding out, hey, you know, especially from a so-called spiritual standpoint, you know, you praying to this God outside of self. And then the more conscious you get, the more you start connecting the dots where when it says thou shalt not worship no other God but I. Well, people thought, well, they was taught that this God was outside of self and you can't worship no other God but that God outside of self, and that's not the case. It's a confession. It's you telling yourself do not worship no other God, because we all gods and goddesses. If we wasn't, it wouldn't say ye are gods. In Psalm 82:6, or even in John, I think 30, John 10, 32, 34, 32, 36, something like that. My point is, Ajna begins to open. There's 7 gates internally, major gates that deals with the rainbow prism of this realm. They're called chakra energy points, and there are 4 keys to open these or to bring awareness to these chakras. I'm not gonna state these keys because I'm using them, and I'm gonna figure this shit out for myself first, because I'm gonna save myself first. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to save the world, so I'm gonna save myself. So the 6th gate is called Ajna, and it's an indigo vibrational color off the spectrum. I can't remember the shape offhand. Look at my head. There's a certain shape to it, but there's a certain tone. But anyway, once this opened up, the first eye, or third, but the first eye opens, but such as the first ear, the internal ear opens as well. What do I mean, internal ear? There is an internal ear. I'll prove it to you. Say your name in your head real loud. You heard that? How is that possible? You ain't say nothing, not a sound, but you can hear yourself say your name in your head. Try it again, go ahead. See? That's the third ear, the internal ear. See, they don't teach us about these things because most of the information that we got was to explain the external. A lot of the information that came in fear was to keep us away from our internal. Or I would say the dark side. Because this is the correspondence realm of the yin and the yang. One is dark with light and one is light with dark. But it goes to say in the beginning and at the beginning, right? At the beginning is where I'm at with it. I'm no longer dealing with the in the beginning. Don't care about that. It goes. Let's go from where it all. I don't want to say started, but ended and started, because there is no end, there is no beginning. It's just is, you know. Pure energy, consistently moving like a spiral, coming in and coming out of nowhere, going into nothing, coming out of nothing. And I'm going to be talking on this platform my practices of how to become the Ori. Where what I'm looking at and what you're seeing is the false self, that is the ego. So that means there is a higher self for me. And if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 levels of the Ori. And, you know, I did a little study of, you know, West African Yoruba stuff, you know, and put it like this. It's a tool to help you be more aware of your internal, but it's a lot of external interference or distraction with it, you know. Accolades and just egos, you know, just I'm this and that, and you know that's people. You know, it's in Islam, it's in Christianity, it's in other religions. Remember, it's not the religion, it's the people. You know. So, but from my awareness of this awakening of action, I can see through all illusions. I never liked the concept of a God punishing someone. Never made sense to me. Because one of the great laws of the universe is do unto others you want done to you. So how can any God and any higher supreme being punish one? Inflict pain to discipline without it being done in itself. So I had to watch these religious nymphs. This concept that push you towards the fear where, oh, don't go over there because that's bad, that's evil. Don't like that because that's negative. Like for instance, no one knows the story. Not many, I'm not gonna say now, but I haven't heard many people who knew or told the story of Lucifer. Why this this angel rebelled against his maker or her maker, whatever. What's the story? We only got one side of the story, and when I tap into this, this ain't for everybody. No. And certain knowledge you obtain, the power of knowledge forces a person to conduct his or her character in a different way. They move different. They don't really express their emotions too much. They barely, but they understand they got a human side. But the way they carry themselves, they more focused on their divine, the godly side, the higher self. And I bear witness to a person like this with others. That's the good thing about my experience. There was witnesses. I wasn't there by myself. Before this experience, the chakras, a gateway to where though? You hear all this talk about New Age and crystals and it's all feel good talk. Who's doing this shit? You can levitate, you can move things with your mind, and you can tap. Okay, no one explaining how. It gotta have some math to this, and math gotta come in the concept of metaphysical, spiritual, mental. Because when you think about spirituality, it's really about inverting your awareness. That's why I said know thyself. How do you know yourself if you don't invert your awareness to yourself? Right? So this is my attempt to better me. To vibrate higher. And I'm gonna come on here each time and analyze my own thinking, my interactions with myself and others, and my growth. And I'm gonna apply my practices, and at the same time, I'm gonna be working on visualizing this stuff, because you can hear it, you can read it, you know what I'm saying? It can be spoken, but can you see it? You know what I mean? My ancestors did hieroglyphics for a reason. It was like, fuck books. You gonna draw this shit out. And the picture tell what? Over 100,000 words. Makes sense, don't it? Well, thank you for your time, bro. Keep loving you. Keep your head up. Accept the mistakes you made. The mistakes was blisses in disguise. I'm not saying blessing, I'm saying blisses. I'm not saying blessing because the word less is in bless, and I'm dealing with this English concept of a language I do not comprehend. Why would I call myself a given? Why would I say something that the universe is giving to me? A blessing. When I look at the word, spell it B-L-E-S. Look at the word bless. When you look into it, I look into it, I see be less. I don't want to be less. I want to be great. So I'm going to say blisses. Who not want to be bliss in their moment? 24/7 if they can. To the extreme, people take drugs for that shit. But internally, naturally? Shit. A natural high is the best high ever. Even with this shit. You know, but I want to say goodnight. Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for listening. And thank you for talking to me. I love you. Because I don't know if I exit out properly. So this is just a little. Hey y'all, peace. What's going on? Good to see you. Right? So keep thinking positive. And let it go. Whatever it is you want and looking for, you seeking. Not sinisterly. Not with, resentment or, playing the victim like, woe is me. Just whatever it is, let it go. Right now. But be sure to know whatever it is you looking, you seeking, you want. Whether it's love for somebody or a type of noun, such as a thing or a place, and a person, again. So just let it all go and know right now you have it. You have it. You already have it. Whatever you feel something externally gonna bring you internally. Watch that illusion of the ego and know you already have it. Don't let nothing outside of you, no now outside of you, validate your being. Nothing makes me, I makes things. I manifest, How? By inverting my awareness and learning myself inwardly. Bit by bit, I eat the head of the rat of those challenges of learning the dark side. So I can bring balance for my light, I know much about the light realm. Where the light realm is contained. It's contained and surrounded by the dark realm. I will understand this concept. I will comprehend this concept to bring balance most of all to figure me out. So again, thank you and talk to you later and I love you. Now I'm gonna end this shit properly. There you go. End news.